So, okay,
Sure.
this is for the recording. So, okay, so today we have Ms. Dayu Susani, who's coming from as a director of sales and marketing at Alida to join us for Startup Masterclass. And Rizal and Gani are also on our marketing team. They've just come in from Jogja at our office over in that city. So, Rizal and Gani, please introduce yourselves.
Okay, selamat siang, Bu Dayu. My name is Rizal.
Okay.
Currently,
nice to meet you.
In Yogyakarta, and my role is basically I do some online advertising on Facebook and also Google Ads. Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, that's Rizal. Next to Gani.
Selamat siang. Perkenalkan, nama saya Gani. Berada di role marketing ini. Saat ini tugas saya adalah untuk mengelola website, Facebook dan Instagram untuk keperluan branding awareness. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice to meet you, Dayu.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, fantastic. Let's go over to Aldo.
Thank you.
Who will be moderating today's session, and over to Aldo.
Okay, thank you, Dayu, for coming to our talk today. So basically, I will introduce myself. My name is Aldo. I'm here from the marketing team. I live here in Bali, in Ungasan. And so
close by, ya?
Yeah, very close.
Hampir kapan-kapan ke Raffles.
Of course, I will. Yeah, we live close at Raffles to so Jing live in Puri Gading.
Even closer. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's Frida. Okay.
Okay, maybe I'll let Frida to introduce herself first.
Sure.
Okay.
Hi, Frida.
Hello, Dayu. I'm Frida.
Hi.
Revenue management intern.
Okay. Good to hear. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay, thank you, Frida, for coming, and thank you again, Dayu, for coming. And maybe my first question for our talk today, maybe to know about your background first. So, how is Raffles doing so far at the moment for this pandemic situation?
Well, for Raffles itself, I'm quite fortunate to be working with owners that are really living up to the brand, because as we know, maybe I share a little bit the background about Raffles as a brand. So previously it was part of Fairmont Raffles Swiss Hotel International, and then back in 2016 it was being acquired by Accor. So as we know, Accor have a lot of brands from budget resorts to mid-scale to luxury. So the budget, you probably know Ibis, and then for the mid-scale, you know Mercure, Pullman, and then for the luxury, previously they have Sofitel.
Okay.
Yeah, and then starting from the beginning of 2000, they're starting to acquire several brands, several iconic brands. So including Banyan Tree, they have a share there, and also they buy Orient Express, if I'm not mistaken. And then the latest, they acquire FRHI, which is Fairmont Raffles Swiss Hotel. So we are part of Raffles now. Raffles itself was established, the first one, if any one of you know Raffles Singapore. So it was established in 1887. And the name itself, as we know, it is derived from the founder of Singapore, Sir Stamford Raffles. Yeah, so it's one of the iconic heritage building in Singapore. They just done the renovation. And then now in the world, there are only 15 Raffles. So Bali, Raffles Bali is the number 15. And if you visit our website, you will realize that we do not call our guests. So we call them well-traveled connoisseur. So they are people who, they are people who are very well versed. They are very discerning. They have traveled the world, and they have good judgment on everything. So in all, they are the affluent travelers. So that's why I'm quite fortunate because I'm working with owners that are know these values, the brand standards, the brand pillars, and everything. And Raffles itself is a brand that has 4 pillars in the brand. So it's coming from legendary service, number one. We are the one who introduced the world to butlers. So Raffles was the first one. And then the second one would be iconic design. So it will always be in a destination that are very unique, or it will be in a heritage building. For example, we will have in London where we will have the Raffles in the old office where Winston Churchill led the war. And then in Dubai, and also we have in France, there are a lot of very, very interesting buildings. So you might visit raffles.com and see it for yourself. And then the next one is dining destination and celebration. So we have a lot of unique dining destination in the resort itself. For those who doesn't know where Raffles is, it's in between Four Seasons and then Raffles and then Ayana. Yeah. No one, no one believes that there is a big chunk of land there with a private beach. So yeah, it's very rewarding. And last but not least, culture for connoisseurs. So basically, we use a lot of the connoisseur word because it's not fair for us just to call them guests. Yeah. So what interesting about our owners is regardless they see that there are people who are offering very attractive rates in the market during the pandemic, we stood our ground. If you see my website, we're still selling at 16 million a night. Yeah, so they really realize that yes, Dayu, you might not see it now, but it has to be gradually because we want to keep targeting our target markets. They are the guests who will value and who will realize what Raffles is all about. I mean, if they would like to have attractive rates, they can go elsewhere. There are a lot of other brands that can offer that. But if you are to use a Raffles brand, you need to stick to the Raffles brand. So that's what it's quite interesting for us as well. I can share the presentation to you so you can have a look at the resort. It's 23 hectares, 32 villas only. So
Okay.
it's a massive land, but very limited inventory. Yeah. So if someone asks me why am I still selling at that rate, is it selling? Is it, do you have gas or something like that? Of course, we have a lot of requests already. We have a
Wow.
lot of interest in weddings, in
Great.
buyouts. Yeah. So not only coming from overseas, coming from the Indonesians wealthy. So you know how Indonesians wealthy, they if they know that there is something new, they want to, oh, I want to be there first. So it's just a wait and see game until the international borders are open. Then we will be able to actually target which one.
I think
So that's
it's
what's happening.
I think it's very
Yeah.
great that you don't change your rate any at all that during this pandemic things. But I believe that maybe your selling strategy is a bit changing from your usual. How do you change your strategy on sales and right now
Yeah.
how is the strategy in
Okay.
general?
Yeah. So when we create the marketing plan, because we are now living in the digital world, right? So digital marketing is very important. I've been in sales for 15 years, so I've known allotment very offline. You know, you have to send it to them, and then you have to stop the allotment and everything. But until now, which is availability rates are changing every single in a day. You can change like every hour, and then the availability is real time. Every time they buy, they can buy straight away, right? So our strategy now, because we will not be able to utilize the digital marketing tools because no one is traveling, because you realize that if we need to invest in a lot of money for the SEM, PPC, and everything, it has to convert right into bookings. And we realized that international borders will only be open in September. So what we do now is just to create awareness. And once again, our owner is saying they're Japanese actually, so they're one of the biggest construction company in the world. So they say, please lay low in the soft opening period. Just use your website and also your social media, and maintain relationship with the consortiums. So consortiums is like travel agents, but they're only taking care of the affluent travelers. Let's say consortia is like Virtuoso, Traveler Made, American Express, and all that. So yes, we might not be able to visit them, but we can visit them through like what we do now, virtual presentation, site inspection. Like I bring my laptop, going to the beach and show them this is my beach and everything like that. So what we do in the past in the past few months, I was joining Raffles in December, so it's almost 9 months. We build a lot of brand awareness. So we work with our Accor luxury team in Paris and also in other parts of the world like Russia, Middle East, US, UK. So you can see me doing this at 12 midnight because we are dealing with America and the US is like 12 hours behind. So that's right. So what we do is brand awareness, brand awareness. We try not to use a lot of, that's my kid there. We try not to waste money in doing activities that we know will not convert into business. So it's all about awareness. It's all about maintaining relationship. And we realize that our partners at the moment around the world, I only have like 12 contracted partners. All of them are in a pause mode. Some of the offices are even closed, like the gigantic one, like the Flight Center in Australia, Hello World. They will say, thank you for sharing, but we will not be traveling until the beginning of the year, 2021. So what we do is just keep telling them, hey, we just opened our restaurant. Hey, we just add this feature and everything. So yeah, that's practically what we do. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe Jim will come up with some follow-up questions.
Sure. Thank you, Dayu. And by the way, I just got off the video call with Rafik, and he works at. Rafik says he knows you from junior high or something.
Yeah, he was contacting me in LinkedIn, and I was like, I remember the two guys he mentioned, but because he doesn't put his own face in the LinkedIn, he's like a sketch. So I said to him, if can you show me a photo of yours? Yeah, he's my old friend.
Very good, very good. Yeah, he remembers you. Yeah. I just got off a call with him, and he said, "Yeah, remember Dayu? She was very, very charming and full of energy, and I feel it immediately."
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And my question is this: I mean, as a director of sales and marketing, and having been consistently as a director of sales and marketing, you just mentioned that like this particular brand values its brand and they're willing to invest, and in terms of like what are the resources you have available as a director? Like what sort of are your tools? What are your you said you have partnerships, you do brand awareness, you have voices. Like when you look into your toolbox, what sort of do you see? And how do you, and thank you for giving that example of how you prioritize. But like in let's say previous jobs or like at maybe W or Alila, were you given like a different toolbox, and how would you then prioritize what you use inside the toolbox?
It's exactly the same actually, because I've been working in brands that are international, right? Like W was under, I was working in W when it was under Starwood and it was under Marriott. And both of the brands have the pros and cons, of course. So basically, I was quite fortunate because W was a pilot project. W Bali was a pilot project in the rise of the digital marketing. Because before, Starwood has several other resorts, right? Like Sheraton. No, they have Westin, and then they have Laguna Luxury Collection. And then almost at the same time, they opened St. Regis. I was part of the pre-opening of St. Regis as well. And then W, and then the other ones. There are a lot of other what we call a selected brand, which is the 4 Points, by Sheraton, and then I Love and everything. So basically, W was the pilot project to prove that we can have a bigger share of retail market segment than the wholesale. Because that was the turn of the 2010 or 2009, right? So from the beginning, W was being set up, we sell on retail. And then for the contracted rates, which is the wholesaler, we only accumulate around 28%.
Wow.
While the So, and it proved successful. But of course, you cannot just put that success to the previous hotels that have had so many wholesale in the past, like 10 to 15 years. So
Yeah.
you cannot just you cannot. It's not a one size fit all
Sure.
unless you start together. You start from the beginning like that.
Got
And W was quite strong as a brand
Mhm.
because in Asia there are several W that are very very good, right?
Yeah.
So it helps when the W Bali was open. So my toolbox at the moment, since let's say since 5 years ago, we focus on no longer trying to get annual contract with the big tour operators because we know what
Okay.
previously I was coming in the sales industry back in 2005, learning that if you want to have business for Bali, you need to make friends with all the tour operators.
Yeah.
Still true until this very day, but the pie is no
Mhm.
longer that big
I see.
because now the OTAs are coming, right?
Right.
So back in the middle, 2010, OTAs were reigning supreme, right?
Right.
So they can command any commission that they would like. So
Right.
give me 25, give me 20. Big guys, maybe they can get away with 18%, but the small guys,
Uh-huh.
they will need to protect 20 to 25%.
Mhm.
So we rely heavily on them. So we use all of their tools, right?
Right.
So we give them the commission. They are the one who is selling us.
Yep.
But we sometimes we neglect the brand.com. Brand.com was like it's just like a showroom.
Okay.
But people cannot buy
Right.
back in the days.
Yep.
So it was just like pretty pictures, videos, and everything, but there was no booking engines and everything, right?
Right.
And then I learned that in a course called this responsible distribution. So when we see the cost that we for one booking that goes to OTA and then one booking that goes to our own brand.com, the price is completely different. Like maybe we pay just 50 cents for each booking because we're using the system, right, in the
Right.
brand.com. But if you're booking through OTA, yes, you get a lot of it. But when you see the commission, you know, like you can use that amount of commission to actually boost whatever you have for the brand.com.
Understood.
So basically, yeah. So basically, when I was moving from Marriott to Minor, Anantara, I realized that Anantara is quite small. Minor is quite small, but their digital team is quite strong.
I see.
So they focus on their efforts for the SEO, SEM, everything, referrals, and then they put a lot of news and blogs to make sure that the keywords are, constantly being searched.
Right. Right.
So we started to go to the direction where we want to not limit, we want to make sure that brand.com also get the fair share of
Of course.
booking
Of course. Of
as
course.
well. So at the moment, all digital marketing managers everywhere, the success is from the revenue that is generated from brand.com.
Right.
So that's what we do. So at the moment, when I was moving, I was meeting my friend who is still in the industry in the other brand, the Marriott. So they say that now they no longer have microsite. So everything goes to brand.com. So it's like w.com, whotels.com. And then you need to search Bali, you need to search Shanghai, you need to
Right.
search other, right? Before we have like wbaliseminyak.com. That's the microsite.
Right.
So we invest all of our PPC, all of our efforts there, but we do not pay attention too much. So when Marriott take over, they remove the entire microsite, put whatever money we have for the microsite to the brand.com.
Makes sense.
Now it increases by 35 to 40%.
Right.
So within the course of 12 months. So basically, the power of a collective effort of, I think they have around 5,000 or 7,000 hotels around the world.
Yeah.
If they do it together, then the website now, if you search any of the hotels,
Right.
their website goes first, not the OTA
Definitely.
sites, right?
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So you have
But for
go ahead. Go ahead, please.
But for luxury itself, and we are a resort destination. That's what we need to know. We are not a city destination. So city destination, if you want to go 100% retail, you can. Or maybe 95%, and then the 5% is like group incentive or something like that. But we are a resort, and we need to have a big, a long length lead time, right? So back in the days, it was like 120 days to 90 days. But now it is getting shorter because they have more options, right? So it's like 60 days and everything. That's why we still need those tour operators. But we need to choose which one.
I see. Okay.
Like
So
you cannot, yeah. So the tour operators are like, let's say, Flight Center. And then if you know Air Tour, their tour TUI.
Sure.
TUI, and then Denata, who own Emirates and also gold medals. So I need to pick the right partners that are able to sell the brand, because not every tour operator will have the clientele, because the market that we're looking for is very, very niche. And then luxury resort in Bali, I think we have all the brand under the star, right? Under the star.
That's
Yeah.
really amazing.
Yeah.
I'm actually completely unfamiliar with the tour operator business. We started Bukit Vista completely kind of like what you mentioned about Anantara. It was all digital.
Okay.
I had worked at Airbnb before, and so when I started my own, it was all thinking about how to do everything.
The other way around, yeah?
Yeah, I'm coming from the other direction. But what kind of boggles me is like who buys a package with Raffles in it? Like that doesn't even like when if I were going to stay, I would just go and book at Raffles, right? I would go to your website.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking there is still people who do that, right? They sort of like the
Definitely
overall thing, and then Raffles is like a slice of that experience.
Correct. So I think we only have 5% of the entire luxury segment.
Okay.
Our we don't say comset. We say in good company. So our good company in Raffles as a brand is like Mandarin Oriental, Peninsula, Four Seasons, Aman, One and Only, Six Senses.
Sure.
These are all the league that we are playing. So and the profile of the well-traveled connoisseurs are, they're either founders, they're either owners of businesses, they're CEOs and all that, or just 25 years old who owns a startup, maybe like Jingyang. So basically, so basically, these people, I don't think they have the time to go through sometimes to go shopping, going to the booking.com or Expedia or the OTAs. They usually have, sometimes they usually have PAs, or they have a trusted, we call it luxury concierge, who is working with them and provides them with the selection of hotels. Let's say, I'll give you one example. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Are you familiar with Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Not the Brad Pitt movie.
The Julie movie. Okay. It's a website that does travel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I get. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith is a membership only luxury concierge. They started off in 2010, if I'm not mistaken, when I was in Alila. I know this very niche travel curators when I was working in Alila, because Alila was an independent brand before they were being acquired by Hyatt now.
Right.
So we need to source the very niche players. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith is one of them, and to get inside Mr. and Mrs. Smith is actually you cannot be a branded resort. So that's the other way around.
Okay.
So you need to be very unique. So Alila Villas Uluwatu was EarthCheck certified gold like 5 times in a row or something. And then they only have 64 villas, and they're located in the amazing Uluwatu, right? I mean, it's like it's embedded in your mind. So they need to come. The consultant need to come to the resort, review it, and then give the score. If we pass the score, it's similar to Virtuoso, but less. I think they're of the same participation fee, 10,000 US dollar per night, per year.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when we are featured there, they have a database of active high net worth individuals that are only booking through Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So
You can target them.
now that, yeah. Sorry.
So you can target them. You can target like email.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So we just need to contact Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and we say, hey, Raffles Bali is opening, and then they say, oh, sorry, because you are part of a very large hospitality company. Yeah, but you need to see. I say, we are only 32 villas, and then they say, okay, because Raffles is only 15 in the world, they're willing to come. Well, before the pandemic. So now we need to wait like next year for them to come and review the resort. So these are the other level of tour operators that will be able to sell us. But they're not selling like every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Like they're not selling like 500 hotels. They're only selling, let's say, in a destination, they only sell 5. They only sell 10. So very curated, yeah.
And I'm curious, if somebody goes on their site, why would they just not go directly to you and book with Raffles and book through an intermediary?
All right. Yeah, because usually for Virtuoso or Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Traveler Made, American Express, Fine Hotels and Resorts, we give them amenities.
Okay.
It's called the consortium amenities. So basically almost as good if they book directly to the brand.com. But at the back end, they also give I think they give a lot to the bookers as well.
That's
because they're yeah, they have these travel consultants, right?
Okay.
Who will be able to convince the guests, okay, you need to stay here, blah blah blah. So yeah, a lot of that, Jin.
I always thought those extra services were organized by that person, but I didn't know they were organized by the hotel and white labeled by the intermediary.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
But what we get from them is exposure,
of course,
and then we are being featured in an avenue that we would like to be featured.
Of course.
So and then another one, just 2 example. Another one is Black Tomato.
Black Tomato.
It's not Rotten Tomato. Yeah, Black Tomato is based in UK. So it was founded by 2 very eclectic travelers, and they're based in UK. And in Bali, they only sell, I think, Capella, Alila, and Aman.
Nice. Those are good.
And we're about to get in. So
okay.
Yeah.
I just went to Capella about 2 weeks ago. It was pretty amazing, actually. That was that was kind of a source of inspiration. So okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
I'll go back to that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the discussion. It's very insightful. And okay, Bu Dayu, so I see that in your LinkedIn that you're focusing on this pre-sales and marketing of the Raffles Bali. So why do you think that is very important that to have this pre-opening sales?
Pre-opening sales will set us in the next coming 5 years. So if you do the pre-opening right, then you will be able to have the brand integrity. For example, I will not mention name, but there is this hotel that has a very high-end brand in Bali, but they got off at the wrong feet. So they target the wrong people. They go to the wrong channels. They're still like selling like it's not luxury. So they still go to the partners that they usually go when selling mid-range property. So do you know what the partners will do? They will press, let's say I come up to their office telling them I'm selling this property $700 US. But since the partner that has volume will not be able to sell that rate, they will press us and say, I can sell you, but you need to reduce your rate by 200. But I give you X amount of revenue within 1 year. So it depends. I mean, if your owner is having this brand integrity embedded in their mind, they will say, no, thank you, I'll find another partner. Or we invest more in our brand.com. It might not come immediately, but we maintain the brand integrity, which is number one. I mean, everybody can have a certain X brand that is scattered around the, I don't know, maybe they have 3 or 4 in each destination. But brands like us, like if an owner decided to use a brand like Raffles, like Peninsula, Mandarin Oriental, they have something behind that. Yes, we have brand integrity. We're selling this much, and if the partner cannot sell it, then it's not the right partner. So they go and source another partner. Yeah, so it depends. Which avenue do you want to target? If you want to drive volume, yes, you can. You have a lot of money, but at what ADR, at what ARR, and then why are you using the luxury brand in the first place if you want to sell it at a lower price point? So yeah, things like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a follow-up question to that, actually, if I may, Aldo.
Yeah.
Sure.
I've noticed, and this might be actually interesting to Rizal and Ghani too. What you just said at the very beginning, that essentially the pre-sale affects the next 5 years. I thought that was just an OTA effect, but the way I see it is that your first guests leave reviews, right? And then
Correct.
that attracts more guests like those people. And then two
Mhm.
guest reviews. And so your first guest attracts the second guest, and the second guest will be more or less like the first, right? And
Yeah.
what we've seen in a few experiments is even if you let's say you've achieved a super ranking on a particular segment, we notice that that does not actually get you bumped into the next budget category.
Mhm.
It's really surprising to me because I thought, oh, hey, I'll give you an example. There's a superhost
Mm.
function on Airbnb, right? So if you get superhost, then you get kind of like all this great benefits and traffic. So we
Correct.
had this cute system one time where we're like, all right, we got superhost at a hostel, and we're like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
superhost. So we started putting our villas onto it. We started putting our high-end properties onto it, and it did not work. It didn't work because essentially it's not, yeah, like what you just said, right? It didn't reflect the same
Yeah,
audience.
the audience. Yeah.
And I thought that was just OTA, but you're saying that it's more of a fundamental nature of law. It seems like, yeah.
It, it's a conscious decision.
Uh-huh.
So even the way you appear on certain websites tells where you want to sell.
Right.
My owner is very particular on where I appear. So they can have a heart attack if suddenly I have this massive OTA, not an OTA, they're just a marketplace. Like they sell everything under the sun also. And then they were like, why are you inviting these people? And I said, I told them they will not get rates from us. They will source it somewhere else from the hotel beds, from the bed banks, and from the OTAs. But we will not be working with them, and there is no harm of showing the resort. So it's just amplify, it's a billboard effect. So they can showcase us, but for the rates they need to source it somewhere else, so something like that. And then they scrutinize every single partner that I come up with every single week. They were like, we bring this to Tokyo, and then you will hear from us next week or something like that. So they're very, I think they have a team in there to actually see whether whatever I presented is actually accurate.
Okay.
Because yeah, I was proposing like 50 tour operators that I think will be able to sell, because based on my previous experiences, you know how many they will finally confirm? 12.
So third, yeah.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
one. So yeah, they did a lot of research on that, and then they just want to make sure that we display the resort in the avenues where we want to target. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. That
Yeah.
is fairly interesting.
Um,
Okay.
and also, it's not a volume game with us. We only have 32 villas. So that's my weapon usually. If somebody is asking me, why are you insisting in selling that price in the middle of everybody else is swimming in the in the very attractive rates for the domestic markets and everything, just to generate interest. And I was like, yeah, it might work now because the demand is not there. But once again, it's not a matter of the rate. Actually, there is no demand. So regardless, you want to go down to as low as 1.5 million. If no one is traveling, then what?
That's
All you have is you are hurting the brand integrity, and people will question because rich people with money, they pride themselves in staying in places where not everybody can stay, right? So it's like a prestige. It's like this is not accessible for everyone. Even one of our distinct character is not for all, because it's only available to a certain market. And then once it becomes available for everybody, it's no longer attractive for them. So they'll go to another brand that will be able to capture their need of recognition, prestige, feel special, feeling belong, and everything. Because if a common is a mere mortal will be able to stay, in the 7-star, and then they will just, it hurt the brand integrity in the long run.
I see.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that you're a lot of your theme is around this idea of brand integrity. Have you seen brand integrity been lost in, let's say, previous places that you might have worked in? And what is there any compromise that you've seen on, let's say, the pricing in terms of how hotels see it in previous workplaces, depending upon? Because I'm thinking the owner has to get paid at the end of the day, right? They don't want to be like, yeah, I'm like prestigious but poor, right? Or I'm paying everyone's salary.
Yeah, back again to the first reason why they choose the brand in the first place. Let's say, for example, if you're choosing Raffles, and then your desire was to have a massive revenue in the first year, then I think you need to build another brand that has like hundreds of rooms, a meeting space and everything. Then you will get a fast turnover. But luxury market everything is about building the trust, maintaining the trust, and then keeping them coming for the next few years. Because let's say in the first year, let's say I'm opening, not in the pandemic situation. Let's say I survive with a 30% occupancy in the first year. This is pre-COVID, let's say.
Sure.
But that 30%, when they are super satisfied, when they realize that it live up to the brand standards, and then they are mostly a frequenter of other Raffles, they will take their friends, their families. So most of the luxury brands are usually referrals. I mean, how many times do you see a Bentley or Rolls Royce advertisement anywhere, right? So we don't advertise. Everything is very it's like a closed group of people that is in that circle. So it is something that
You're right about that.
if you are targeting the right clientele from the beginning, your second year, your third year will be easier.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's actually such a good insight. That's a brilliant insight. One of my previous jobs in Bali was I was working at the Aman Nusa back when there was an Aman Nusa, and building the Aman Nusa villas in the back, and I saw that exact thing happen that you just described. So Aman had zero advertising, and they were proud of that. They were saying like, we don't ever advertise. And
they have the Aman junkies.
And what I saw was it was really spectacular because when Aman had a project, I'd worked in other real estate agencies, and when we wanted to sell a $2 million villa, it would be like catching a whale. It would be like, if you're lucky, to sell a $2 million villa. And you never know when that happened. When Aman sold, they sold all off plan. So they were bought before they were even released, all paid in cash. And they were all for leasehold properties that were going to expire in 30 years. And I thought, what crazy person does that? And then I realized it is a very small circle. Yeah, like you said, it is really like in just like the thousands of people who actually do
Correct. Correct. So brand integrity is something that they talk about you when you're not in the room, right?
Interesting.
So let's say, yeah, so you have this brand, even though the brand is not in the room, but they talk about it in such awe, in such respect, in such it is an inspirational brand and everything. So once you are staying true to the brand values, to the brand pillars, to everything the brand stands for, you don't need to advertise because in the past 8 months, I have partners that are actually approaching us.
Mhm.
So and very eager to feature us, like Black Tomato come to us,
Right.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith come to us, and then the rest like Virtuoso want to visit us before the pandemic, and I haven't done anything because all my newspaper, magazine, everything our owner said let's keep it a few months leading to the grand opening. So
Mhm.
the soft opening is like your time, your ample amount of time to actually perfect everything so that we live up to the brand standards. We are Raffles, the true Raffles. So not just someone wearing the Raffles coat and then you act like something else. Yeah, so that is something that our owner really are very careful. Make sure that we don't fall into that, and then fall off the wagon and then getting yeah, being sold in places they don't want us to be selling and everything.
Okay.
Like publication, I need to be very careful when we do the press release in July. We need to be very selective also which one that we would like to be present at. Yeah.
Very good.
So
Okay. Back to Aldo.
yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
I think that's all for my questions. Thank you very much, Ms. Budayu, for coming to us and talk to us. It's such a great inspiration and insight. Maybe I let's go around to see maybe people have some questions.
Mhm.
Let's go
Yeah.
from Frida. Maybe do you have any questions?
Mhm.
For now, not yet. Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. Thank you, Frida. Maybe from Gani and Rizal.
Yeah, I have a question for Budayu, but
Yes.
probably this one is a basic question, but I'd like to know what is your successful strategy to spread brand awareness in this pre-opening period of time? I mean, what is the difference between the strategy between the pandemic? So, what is the difference?
Mhm. Actually, the only difference is that before pandemic, I usually will not be in Bali in the first year. So there are trade shows and also a lot of luxury travels that we need to attend. Let's say in a year, I usually travel 8 to 9 times. Starting from as early as January, we usually go to Australia, let's say, and then in May we usually go for the ATM in Dubai, and then there are ILTMs around the world. So we have International Luxury Travel Mart in Shanghai usually, but now they move it, and then there is an ITB Asia also, and then there is Cannes, and then there is something in Seminyak. It's called Farther East. So Farther East is actually organized by people who manage the limited edition in Miami. So that it's very curated, and only certain brands that will be invited there. So we were there, but then of course it got cancelled. The only difference between brand awareness pre-pandemic and post-pandemic is the travel part and the PPC, SEM, SEO part, because we put that on hold first because there is no use. Like you're burning money if you're doing that at the moment. So what we do is doing something that is just in the brand. So social media is very powerful. TripAdvisor. You need to have your beautiful TripAdvisor, and then just to make sure that you engage with these partners, these potential partners, even though they cannot travel. Like I mentioned before, we do virtual presentation. We do a lot of e-blast and everything. Everything is done digitally. Yeah, and not too much of an effort. You don't want to make people feel sick every time. It's always this brand, this brand, this brand. You become too much. So you need to make sure that you position yourself, and to make sure that you time the responses that you give to the partners, because you're not the only hotel that are now doing that. So you need to do it with class, so that following up phone call or WhatsApp is much better than just sending them hundreds of emails but not following up at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only difference. The rest is just referrals, and then TripAdvisor, social media. Make sure you are connected to. Make sure that your feature on your website keep updated. Make sure that you update your content and everything. So basically, just engage the potential clients. Yeah, and never leave your email more than 24 hours, if possible. Yeah, because people are waiting, right? Yeah. I mean, how busy can you be, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Mas Gani, for the question. Maybe for Mas Rizal.
All good
Oh,
for
that was Rizal or Gani?
The-
Oh, Gani. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Cool. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mas Gani and Mas Rizal. To Felix, maybe.
Oh, yes, I have a question for Miss Dayu.
Yeah.
First of all, do you familiar with the brand tool called brand advocacy ratio? Do you know about it?
About what?
The brand tool, it's called brand advocacy ratio.
Brand advocacy ratio, BAR.
Yeah.
I only know best available rates, but let me find out. What is it about, if I may know?
Oh, so it's one of the brand tools from the Mark Plus, the marketing agency. So it's about finding the ratio between advocate per brand awareness.
Okay.
Okay. So may I know that what is the standard rate for the bar, the brand advocacy ratio for the luxury hotels? Because I found that
Yeah.
is
That
from
is
the
something new. So
referral.
I actually, honestly, I don't know. So this is
Okay.
the first time I heard bar that is not best available rate. So let me find out about that. I can ask
Okay.
our brand team.
Okay, let me rephrase my question then.
Uh-huh.
Um, how do you make a survey or how do you reach your target uh, when you have stated that you have your sales is from the customers referral to the new customers in order to boost up your sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you how do you reach your target sales actually from that?
Okay. So you mean the revenue, or the new customer, or the repeat customer? How many percent I have repeat customer, or how many percent I have new customer? Is it the question?
The revenue growth,
The revenue.
revenue, and also if possible the new customers.
Okay, so for the first year, what we target in the during the marketing plan is that we realized that that was pre-COVID, right? So the healthy, not the healthy, usually on average for luxury resort, in the first year we will not put 50% occupancy. So it is a little bit difficult, no, regardless how many rooms you have. And then if you are successful to achieve at least 30 to 35%, and then the next year they will target you around 50. So that's what they usually do. Yeah. And in the first year, of course, you don't have repeater yet, right? So it's all new guests. But in the second year, it will become, let's say, it's not directly 85% guests. You need to be 10 years old to have those type of repeat ratio. So in the second year, might be around 20 to 25% are repeat customer. And then the rest, you need to still find new people. And then we have this powerful tool now, right? The TripAdvisor, the review aggregator. Not only TripAdvisor, Now Google, everybody has it. The OTAs are having the review sites. Now we have people in the hotel that is responsible solely to make sure that our score doesn't fall under a certain threshold. Let's say back in my previous place, in Seminyak in W, we have to reach, I think, 7.4 or 7.8. So if we fall like 7.7 or 7.6 because of one star review, it will be, it takes a few 5 star to get back up again. So everything now about review, because we understand guests, when they want to book anywhere, they will go to the review site first. What are the previous guests are saying? Oh my goodness, they have a lot of terrible, complaints and everything. They shift. So for those who still doesn't realize how important review sites are, they need to, yeah. So we need to take care of to make sure that it is taken care of, and then everything is being fixed to make sure that not the same mistakes are happening and everything. So I hope it answered your question.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, I think it's quite enough right now. So I think Mr. to ask a question.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Over to Jing.
Yeah, sure. Last question. Can we visit your place? Aldo and I are nearby. Can we?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm actually will be on Saturday and Sunday because we have like photo shoots. So if you want to come in the afternoon to have a look at the resort, you can.
Saturday and Sunday, yeah? Okay, that sounds great. Sounds
Yeah.
great. Be fearless, Connie. Be fearless. Okay, awesome. Okay, that's great. That's great. We'll make a trip of it then. Yeah, but we might go and be inspired. We'll go and see all the great hotels. Which one was your favorite of all the places you worked at, Miss Dayu?
W.
W, yeah. Okay.
Because there I can see the power of a brand.
Ah, okay.
I don't do much there. Not that I don't do work, but this is the proof why a certain brand, regardless how expensive they are, because when somebody is loyal to a brand, it's no longer a logical decision, right? It's an emotional decision. We are 80% emotion, 20% logic.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I buy Apple stuff all the time. I don't even think about why I do it anymore. Yeah, I just.
Yeah, Apple fanboy. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So it's 80% emotion, 20% logic. Otherwise, people will just buy, generic stuff that doesn't have brand.
All right. Very good. Very
And
good.
that's why we can sell $1,000 while the others probably need to sell something else. So because of the brand that is associated to the price tag, right?
Definitely.
Because you deliver the promise of the brand and everything. So yeah.
People can expect the results. Great.
Yeah, and W was a place where I realized that when you have such a strong brand that live up to the brand integrity, not much that you want to do, because you just need to maintain the relationship, you maintain the right clientele.
The brand sells itself.
The people.
The brand sells itself.
Yeah, I'm just an ambassador, just bringing flyers and stuff. Yeah.
I like that. Big inside the brand. Okay, yeah, got it. I understand now. Back to Aldo.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jim, for the questions. And maybe for PD and Lilis, I know that you're like, maybe do you have any questions in mind before we end the session?
Oh, Vinny and Lilis are here. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, they're here. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Lilis. Hi, PD.
Sorry for being late because we just finished the discussion with other actually.
Okay.
Here's my team. Budaya. This is Lilis and Vidi, and they both work on our business intelligence department.
You know, Jing, I would like to ask a question because I'm very interested, because I have a few requests on this before, right? So I usually like ignore it,
Wow. Why do you like us?
sorry, no archive. But somehow you caught my attention because when I see the featured, videos and YouTubes that you have, like you have office in Jogja, and I see that there are a lot of youngsters, fresh graduate. I was curious, what is the aim or the goal of Bukit Vista, and can you elaborate more? Because I'm planning to do early retirement, so maybe in the next 5 years. No, seriously, because yeah, yeah. So yeah.
Okay, what we do is we sort of we're aiming. What we've done traditionally is we've done property management, right? So people give us their properties,
Okay.
we manage it, we market it, and we give them revenue
Okay.
back, right? So we've been doing
Okay.
that pretty well. We went from one property back in about 6 years to about 160, 180 properties now, right? So that's
My goodness.
yeah, we've got.
Okay.
What we want to do in the future is this idea of
Mhm.
hospitality as a service. So a hotel. This is not good for.
Okay.
This is not good news for if you work in a hotel. But instead of a hotel hiring people to do certain jobs, we want to essentially just like Raffles would hire Bukit Vista to do marketing as a service, right? Or they would hire Bukit Vista to do revenue as a service. They just pay Bukit Vista to bring in revenue.
Yeah.
So or
Okay.
whatever else, right? So that's kind of like our concept as a company. What we're doing these
Mhm.
days is actually this. I've been in Indonesia for 15 years, and one of the things that I've always
Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from California. So I'm
Okay.
I'm very
Mhm.
strange thing to be these days. But I grew up in
Okay.
California, and then for me, education was always a very strong part of where I saw like getting good education, also getting good mentorship and developing people was something that I've always
Yeah.
benefited from, and that's whatever I became a founder eventually. So
Mhm.
what I thought about this was we want to do this kind of thing to bridge the
Mhm.
gap, right? So I noticed that
Mhm.
people come out of college, they have whatever they've learned something in college, and then there's expectations in the real world, and there's a huge gap, right? There's this thing that's been happening in the real world, and there's this thing that they've been teaching, and what we're trying to do with this
I agree.
is to create a bit more connection, right? So, and I know a lot of people are shy, right? A lot of people will probably not approach you and ask you, "Hey, can you be my?"
I agree with you. That is the disease of Indonesian and Asian. I mean, they're not. They can do the equally perfect work, but they're just more shy.
Yeah,
And since they are more shy, the other not shy people get the job. The shy people is actually, yeah.
so that's what we're hoping to do with Startup Masterclass. We go
Okay.
basically to the major Indonesian universities. We bring our mentors with us. We first do this as a way of getting to know what each mentor can do, and we host
Yeah.
webinars basically a few times a month. And when it's like
Okay.
UPM, UI, Erlangga, Brawijaya, like basically all the top schools, and we
Yeah.
basically bring the mentors to share what they've shared with us, but in front of like a large audience. What we're hoping to do is to increase because the biggest gap I've always saw in like developing a startup industry is the talent. If you can't get enough talent, then you sort of like I can't get my managers and I can't get my leaders and so you get stifled.
Oh, okay.
So we're thinking
Mhm.
like this way of sharing like let's say somebody who's done it successfully for a very long time, sharing like
Okay.
your aura, your personality, the experiences that you've gone through, just kind of like listening to how you
Sharing.
talk, right?
Yeah.
This is how a director of sales and marketing talks, right?
Yeah.
That we hope will be an inspiration.
I don't usually talk like this
Okay,
if I'm,
so
close to budget season.
yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
What we're doing in support of our mission, which is essentially
I mean, thank you so much, Jing. We need more people like you. I mean, of all the
That's very
senior. I
flattering.
mean, yeah, I feel embarrassed actually because you're coming all the way from California, and here I am. I'm born and raised in Bali, and I didn't get I didn't get the epiphany to actually start something like you. So maybe you give an inspiration for me. I might retire in 5 years. I might want to join you or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'd be happy to have you. We'd be honored to have you. I think you can learn a lot.
Yeah. I mean, doing something for the fresh graduate. I mean, what what I agree with you. There is a huge gap between whatever they're studying in the university and to whatever is the industry is requiring now. I mean, whatever they're teaching these kids now in 2020 is whatever they're teaching me in 1998. And I was like, yeah, guys, you need to, I think you need to change your program study or something like that, right? To something more relevant, something more. So when they graduate, they already know where to position themselves because whatever they're learning now sometimes is already obsolete. Like it's no longer there. The business is dying or something like that. So yeah, thank you so much for doing the educate.
Thank you, Dayu, for being a very lively speaker too, as well. Let me turn it back to you. Since Lewis and Viddy just came in, maybe we can give them a chance to engage or ask any questions or however. Yeah.
Sure. Viddy has questions, maybe from Lilis.
Okay, so basically, you take a note, right, Aldo? Thank you so much. So I can see how is that going, but not really. I have a big topic, but I'm kind of curious about before COVID-19, how the revenue management there works actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't exist. The place where I work wasn't open pre-COVID. So before COVID, revenue management is a very important part. Like before, it doesn't exist, right? It's only the director of sales and marketing, and then the reservation manager, and that's it. But then, as we switch from offline to online, we need to make sure that every single room makes the maximum rates on that day because we are perishable, right? So once you didn't sell it in the right time and the right price, then you are screwed until the end of the month, right? So the big hotels, the big chains, the revenue directors are being assisted by a lot of tools. We have revenue management system, we have rate shopper, we have channel managers, we have everything. So not that I say that all they do is making coffee or something like that, but they need to analyze the data that are being provided, right? So having the data is one thing. Analyzing it to make sure that you don't, you achieve the maximum target is a different game, and it takes a lot of practice. It's a lot of trial and error and everything. So hotels is all about practice, right? So this year we fail and then we analyze why we fail. Oh yeah, because we don't pay enough attention in this part, on that part. So the second year we will be better. Yeah. So pre-COVID, revenue has the revenue management system. They have the rate shopping tools. They have the channel managers to make sure that they don't need to go one by one to each channel, to close the availability and everything. So they're assisted heavily by all of these tools, and that tools also help us from the sales part to confirm something. Let's say you have 100 rooms, and then your occupancy is already, let's say, your occupancy is only 40%. But then your revenue said, no, we cannot confirm the group. Oh, why? Because we still have the availability. No, because my history says in the next coming week, you will have the booking. So that's the power of the revenue management system. And then it happens. So if we are insisting in confirming the group, we will not get the higher ADR because groups usually we give very special rate, right? unless you are having a 30 rooms, and then group has to be higher because we don't have the opportunity to sell anymore. So things like that, things that in my sales opinion, I said, no, they are willing to pay tomorrow, and then my revenue said, no, you need to wait. So 2 weeks later, we find out that he is right. So things like that. And it's not using crystal ball, it's using a very expensive management system that will assist us in getting the maximum revenue. Yeah. So it's an integrated effort of everybody. Me willing to say, okay, so I cannot accept the group, and then the others are, making sure that it happens. So yeah. There are a lot of things to learn actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So previously it doesn't exist and it exists now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I'm
And
curious.
it's one of the most important one because they're no longer reporting to the DOSM. So revenue directors are reporting to GMs and sometimes to owners.
Mm.
We only sell. We only sell, but the rates, the grid is created by them, and the dynamic is created by them. Yeah. One of the most important one. Yeah. So if you would like to have a career in a hotel, have a career in either digital marketing or revenue, because from those two fields, you can be one of the strongest DOSM, because you're not just talking about which avenue that you are able to sell, but you actually can tell them, okay, I sell this percentage for the brand.com, this percentage for OTA, this percentage for the partner contracted, and I know how to do it. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's amazing. But I think it's a secret sauce. But would like to ask
It's not a secret sauce. It's a mighty tool created by very smart people like Jingla.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps if you would mention that the name of that, so we would have to study it. Just but if you don't mind, no problem.
There are things that are like Oracle, right?
Yeah.
So Oracle is creating the system that is being used by most hotels around the world. It's called Opera. So it's our management system for reservation, for revenue management, and everything. So, and also for channel managers, they have SiteMinder, they have Rate Gain, they have Easy Build. So it depends on what brand you would like to use. But mostly hotels in Bali, I think for channel manager, they're using SiteMinder or Rate Gain. Yeah, and then the rate shopping tool, there is this very powerful one created by someone in California, actually, in the Silicon Valley, I think. It's called OTA Insight. Yeah. So that OTA Insight guy is now having a tool that will be able to forecast what sort of business we will have in 2021 based on actual post-pandemic events.
Wow.
So not using last year's numbers because it's not relevant, right? So they're cooking that at the moment, and I'm waiting for them to open the data for Jimbaran because at the moment I think they're using Ubud as the first one. Yeah, no secret sauce, Lilis. It's a lot of brains there. Yeah. And I was like hearing my revenue manager, oh my God, okay, yeah. So, and by then we can decide, right? So if we get the insight from revenue, then we will know whether we want to stay true to the rate or we need to, chip in a little, put it a little bit down. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
You
Thank
need to be best friends. If one day you become DOSM, you need to be best friends with your revenue director or revenue manager. Yeah.
Sure.
Because they're like very, they're like gods now. And we were like, can we have the room, please? Yeah. Can we have the room? No, you cannot, or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. But they're talking based on facts. but they don't see people, right? They only see, those, yeah, they see the screen, and then they were like, Dayu, you cannot sell this time, this time, this time. And I was like, yeah, but I'm having someone at the end of the line is waiting for me to confirm, because I'm dealing with people. You're dealing with numbers and tools. Yeah, I don't think I can stand that job. No.
Sounds like you enjoy your job a lot. Sounds like despite that, you still like what you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But meeting people and everything, yeah, and stumble upon Jing and also Bukit Vista. Yeah. Thank you, Jing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and everyone.
Thank you, Dayu.
Yeah.
Back over to the chair, or to the Aldo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question. Last but not least, questions from VD, maybe? Do you have anything in mind?
Right. Thank you very much for making time to speak with us. It was really insightful, the last question. Actually, Lilis, Frida, and I are from Revenue Manager in Bukit Vista, and I believe we can learn a lot from it. Maybe my last question would be, feel free if you want to answer it or refuse to answer it, but let's say hypothetically, what Mr. Jing said regarding the scalability of of offering this kind of service for hotels came true. I would like to know from the point of view of someone from Raffles, for example, what is the one big obstacle that hinders those kind of partnership? What makes big hotels wouldn't want to partner up with us if we offer that kind of service?
Actually, for international chain hotels, they have teams already, right? All over the world. And they have not only the headquarter. Let's say, for example, Accor. Accor is massive. It's not only hospitality. They own Paris Saint-Germain, some of them, the shares, and they also have several other business. They're a conglomeracy actually, and for a company that huge, they need to have teams. They need to have what we call a central team. So when we mention central team, it means that someone who are based in Paris, and then in Paris, they have, let's say, the vice president and also the directors. And then in the regional part, they have Asia Pacific, and then Asia Pacific shrink again to MIS, let's say Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore. And each and every one of them, they have people for different division. They have PR, they have revenue, they have marketing, they have sales. So they have their divisions already manned by people who are experts in the field. So if in my opinion, because I worked before with small resorts, independent resorts, like if you know Luna 2 in Seminyak, there is this very exact sequence. Yeah, it's very different, right? It's very cosmic. It's very, like somebody is on on something. So it's very colorful. And because they don't see the necessity of having an in-house salespeople, they hire someone. They hire a company that is a one-stop shop for sales, marketing, revenue, and everything. And it works because I think they only have 14 studios and 4 bedrooms. Yeah, and it works like a charm because one, with such inventory, you don't need to have a lot of partners because big partners will not want to contract you because you are not making volume. Yeah, their space in the brochure is very valuable, so they calculate your rates or your amount of room per one page. So that's why they say, you're too small, I cannot work with you. So you know what avenue they will go, right? Either your brand.com, but you have to have loads of money if you want to have everything direct to your website, or the other one, the OTAs. That's it. Yeah. So in my opinion, for luxury brands or international chain hotels, yes, it will be quite challenging. However, mind you, in Bali alone, I don't know how many hotels we have now. There are a lot of hotels, and some of them are stunning, some of them are beautiful, but they're not maximizing their presence, right? Probably they don't have a salesperson. Probably they are very conventional. They only, contacting the grandmas and grandpas that own travel agents from the, I don't know, 70s or 80s or anything. And they didn't realize that even social media you can sell actually, and then or just create a beautiful brand website that people can refer to or something like that. So your services will be very beneficial for those beautiful but unknown brands.
I see.
And if you're successful in building that one, then it's a referral. Like I mean, the owners will talk, right? Hey,
Right.
why you
Correct.
get the bookings from here and here? Oh, I use Bukit Vista or something like that. That happens. Yeah. In our part, it is more possible if you are a PR representation,
I see.
because
Yeah.
prior to pandemic, I can go to all these countries, right? But now I cannot. So to have a PR rep there will enable us to go through the market that we want without having to be there. Yeah. But your services definitely for the independent brands, for people who are not well versed in the digital part.
Yep.
Definitely.
Right.
It's a growing business. I mean, you are on the right track, guys. So
Thank you very much
I'm
for that.
actually almost obsolete, you know. I said to my friend, I said to the young sales manager, fresh graduate, I said, you need to be interested in e-commerce, in digital marketing, in revenue, because those are the future. I mean, you see what happened with the big giants, right? The wholesalers. If they're not investing in technology, they will collapse. They will be obsolete, no matter how huge they are. So the ones who are still here, like Flight Center, like Hello World, like TUI, because at the turn of 2010, they invest in a lot of technology. They keep up. Once you keep up, then then
Right.
you'll
Thank you very
survive.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very
I hope that
insightful.
answered your question.
Yep.
So you're
Exactly.
in the right division, actually, revenue.
Right. Thank you
You
very much.
become my boss later. Become James' boss.
Probably. Yeah. One day soon. I hope. Good.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Fun today. No, that's good. Yeah. I hope everyone gets to be my boss. I just want to sweep the floors here. No, I don't need to worry. I just watch everybody else work. Tend to be. Yeah, I'm just gonna get back. That's the. Okay. Back to the chair. I'm sorry. When we have a meeting, we have a chairperson, so I keep on going. It's a reflex. Back to Aldo for moderation.
Okay, I think that will be all for today's session. Thank you very much, Buday, for your time. We really appreciate that. And
oh yeah, can I request something? Not that everything I said is bollocks or something like that, but since I mentioned a few brands that are not I no longer work with, so do you mind if this is recorded? But please do not display it somewhere else. This is for the how many people of us here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 9, and just keep it there. If you want to share the recording, it would be great. So if I can have it, because you know what? It's actually an honor for me for somebody to actually listen to me for 1 hour. So sometimes my people in office was like, guys, listen.
This is great. This is very fun.
Thank you, Jing, for inviting me, Aldo, and Gani, Rizal, Frida, Lilis, Fidi, Felix. Felix, I promise I'll learn about that Mark Plus thing. Don't worry. I met Mr. Herman Kartajaya one time, so he's one of my, idol also. So I need to do more.
I think the last, maybe I'd like to take a screenshot for our documentation and also to share our LinkedIn. Okay, maybe thumbs up, everyone.
I'm gonna give a double thumbs up. This is awesome.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. I think that's all from today's session. Thank you, Buday, for your time. Thank you very much. And Maybe
Thank
see
you
you.
for inviting me, guys. I hope that whatever I said is, makes sense. And I'm speaking no secret sauce. So it's all brain and also a lot of practice, trial and error. And you guys are on the right track. Thank you, Jing, for being such an founder and startup. Respect. So yeah, we'll be in touch.
We will.
Thank you.
We'll see you this weekend, hopefully. Yeah, come over.
Yeah, let me know. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay.
See you, Dayu.
Take care.
Bye.